Good morning, Salam Malaysia Madani, and welcome to our Randau Kepemimpinan second series for the year 2023. Okay, now we are very privileged today as we will have a very important guest from a very important organization here in Sarawak. But before that, we will ask our Tuan Hairul Anwar to lead us in prayer. With that, I invite Tuan Hairul Anwar.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah ya Rahman, jadikan pertemuan kami pada hari ini pertemuan yang mawaddah. Jadikan pertemuan kami ini pertemuan yang penuh sakinah. Jadikanlah pertemuan ini di dalamnya penuh rahmah. Ya Allah ya Rahim, Engkaulah pemilik akal fikiran, tajamkanlah fikiran kami. Engkaulah pemilik kefahaman, berilah kefahaman kepada kami. Engkaulah pemilik keikhlasan, ikhlaskanlah diri kami. Izinkan kami untuk menghasilkan kebaikan yang bermanfaat kepada agama, bangsa dan negara. Rabbi syrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Thank you very much, Tuan Hairul Anwar. Now, with any other events, it will never be complete without a welcoming speech. For that, I invite our director, Tuan Haji Edmund Shah bin Tambi, the director for IAB Cawangan Sarawak.
Pensyarakanan Jabatan Kepimpinan Bahasa dan Komunikasi Institut Amirin Baki Cawangan Sarawak. Yang berbahagia, tamu randau kita pada pagi ini, Dato' Dr. Anderson Tiong Ing Hang, Chief Executive Officer Sarawak Information System Sembilan Berhad. Yang dihormati Ketua-Ketua Jabatan Institut Amirin Baki Cawangan Sarawak dan Ketua-Ketua Jabatan Institut Amirin Baki seluruh Malaysia, barisan pensyarah, pemimpin-pemimpin pendidikan serta barisan pentadbir institusi pendidikan seluruh negara dan seterusnya yang diraikan penonton setia Siri Randau Kepemimpinan Institut Amirin Baki Cawangan Sarawak untuk pagi ini. Alhamdulillah, dengan rahmat dan inayahnya, sekali lagi Jabatan Kepimpinan Bahasa dan Komunikasi berjaya mengadakan webinar bulanan Institut Amirin Baki Cawangan Sarawak, iaitu Siri Randau Kepimpinan untuk siri kedua pada hari Jumaat yang barakah ini. Seperti mana sebelum ini, melalui platform secara maya, warga kepimpinan sama ada dari dunia pendidikan maupun bukan pendidikan dari seluruh pelosok negara berpeluang berkongsi pengalaman dan kepakaran yang menjadi nilai tambah kepada ilmu pengetahuan dalam dunia pendidikan kita pada masa ini. Sehubungan itu, untuk kali ini, satu lagi tajuk menarik akan kita kupas. Perbincangan dalam bahasa Inggeris pula akan membincangkan tajuk yang berbunyi Sarawak Information System Sembilan Berhad ataupun Sains, What You Need to Know. Yang bukan saja kami jamin menarik, malah memberi pendedahan kepada kita khasnya berkaitan dengan fungsi dan kerja buat sains dan sumbangan sains dalam dunia tanpa sempadan kini. Untuk itu, saya amat berbesar hati mengalu-alukan tetamu khas kita pada pagi ini, Dato' Dr. Anderson Tiong Ing Hang, Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Sains ke Randau Kepimpinan kali kedua Institut Amirin Baki Cawangan Sarawak. Saya secara peribadinya berpendapat tajuk yang akan dibawa ataupun akan dikedengarkan oleh Dato' Dr. Anderson merupakan satu tajuk yang sangat sinonim dengan kerja buat kita selaku warga pendidikan pada masa ini yang sangat memerlukan kemahiran dalam bidang ICT, lebih-lebih lagi dalam usaha kita untuk melahirkan lebih ramai pemimpin digital, khasnya dalam kalangan pengetua dan guru besar. Oleh itu, kami mengambil kesempatan ini mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada Datuk Dr. Anderson atas perkongsian ilmu dan pengalaman yang bakal beliau kongsikan dengan kita kelak. Mudah-mudahan ilmu yang akan kita perolehi akan menjadi inspirasi dan pencetus idea dalam bidang digital kepada warga pendidikan, khususnya para pemimpin dan pengurus pendidikan, sama ada di peringkat sekolah, peringkat pejabat pendidikan daerah, di Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri seluruh negara, maupun di bahagian-bahagian dalam Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. Kita juga berharap perkongsian hari ini akan mendapat impak yang sangat positif kepada warga pendidikan agar kita, warga pendidikan, akan lebih maklum berkaitan dengan bidang kepimpinan fasih digital di institusi pendidikan kita. Tuan dan puan Randau sekalian, saya amat berharap Randau kali ini akan menjadi tonik kepada budaya kecemerlangan dalam kalangan warga pendidik, terutamanya dalam pengurusan fasih digital di institusi-institusi pendidikan. Sama-samalah kita berusaha sebaik mungkin untuk menjadi pemimpin digital yang efektif, yang disegani melalui bimbingan dan perkongsian tetamu kita pada hari ini. Terima kasih saya ucapkan kepada Datuk Dr. Tiong Eng Heng, Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif Sains, kerana sudi menjadi tetamu Randau Kepimpinan pada pagi ini, dan terima kasih kepada para penonton yang setia bersama kami di saluran YouTube Institut Aminuddin Baki, Cawangan Sarawak. Kuning emas masaknya jadi mawar merah dalam jamangan. Terima kasih Datuk, terima kasih daun keladi, budi Datuk jadi kenangan. Terima kasih juga kepada tim produksi Randau Kepimpinan IAB Cawangan Sarawak atas penganjuran program webinar bulanan kita ini. Jadi dengan itu, saya sudahi dengan ucapan wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat menonton kepada tonton perempuan di luar sana. Sekian.
Thank you very much, Tuan Haji, for your speech. Now, as Tuan Haji has mentioned earlier, the topic for Randau today is science. What do we need to know? Now, you might be wondering what science is. Well, it's definitely not a subject that we study in school, but it's one of the most important organizations here in Sarawak. Science, in short for Sarawak Information Science System. Okay, now, if I were to mention Sarawak Pay, then we probably can relate to that. Now, before I move further, okay, let's welcome our guest of honor, the Chief Executive Officer of Sains, Datuk Dr. Anderson Tiong Eng Heng, on stage. Good morning, Datuk.
Morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are very privileged indeed to have you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. First of all, thank you, Tuan Haji Emong Shah, the Bengara Cawangan Sarawak, and Tating Felina Diana Morrison, the moderator. Thank you for inviting me to this channel this morning to share my digital experience.
Okay, Dato, I think a lot of our viewers are eager to know what science is all about. But before that, I think it's only right for us to get you to introduce yourself. Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Okay. Can I have the slides? I think it will be easier to explain on the slides. Okay.
Okay, no worries.
Right. Now, what I'm going to share this morning, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, right? And then I will move on to introduce what science is, what science is doing in a Sarawak context, and then later on, I will spend a bit of time on some leadership experience that I have gained so far in working in the industry for I think for about 32 years now. And hopefully at the end of the day, all of you, the viewer, will get something, will gain something from this webinar, right? All right. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay. Talk a little bit about my life journey. I was born in Cebu, 1964, in a very small village. I came from a very poor family, and I have four siblings, and the only my father was the only one working, supporting the family. My mother, my late mother was just a housewife, right? So I went to this primary school, SJK Hang Kwon, back in 1971, and this school is still around. I went back before COVID. I visited this school, and the school is still around, right? And I studied there for 2 years. I think because of this crisis, we at that time it was under the what they call the harassment of this communists. So it was very bad at that time. So we were running here and hiding here and there. So my late father decided to move down to Cebu town. That's why 1972 I transferred from Hang Kwon to Cebu, this Chonghua Primary School. Right? From there, primary 2, primary 3, and I finished primary 6. Then after that, my late father decided to send me to Sacred Heart, because at that time it was very much English secondary school, and he wanted me to be English, to be educated in English to improve my English language. And at the time, the principal was Brother Aquinas, and it is a missionary school. It's a boys' school. It was a boys' school at the time. And I took LCE and MCE, and then Form 6 STP, I think. So it's very much English. We have one subject. Bahasa Malaysia was just one subject, you see. So I finished my secondary school at Sacred Heart, and then 1984. So after my Form 6, I took a part-time job, and a full-time job actually, 1984, 1985. I worked in a company, and I was earning $275 a month. Now at that time, the bank, anybody who worked in a bank become a bank job is a very what I call high at that time, considered to be high-paying jobs. And at that time, the average pay for somebody working in the bank is about $450 to $550 ringgit a month. So 275 ringgit a month is well below average salary. So I worked there for about maybe less than a year. I told myself, no way I'm going to get out of this. No way I'm going to have a good life in the future, because I don't think I can see my future working in a company earning 275 ringgit, and then how much can I earn 10 years from now? So I decided the only way at the time, I thought that the only way to get out of poverty is to get out of this place, get out of Cebu, and go to further my study. So I managed to convince my father to let me go to KL to study. At that time, there were only two colleges available: PJ Community College and Damansara Utama, KDU, College Damansara Utama. And I went there to study, and I was the third batch student. That means Damansara Utama was pretty new, just opened up for business. So I studied there for about 2 semesters. And American, they call ATP program, American Transfer Programs. And I told my father that I want to go to US. My father said, no, I couldn't support you because we didn't have enough money to send me overseas. And I was able to convince my father, no, you just give me a ticket and one semester tuition. The rest I will take care of it.
So to start it off.
Yes, to start it off. And he managed to borrow from relatives. I think it's 10,000 ringgit. At that time, US exchange rate was 1 ringgit to one US dollar to 250, I think, 250 ringgit. So we bought a ticket. So I went. I went there for first semester. Then I started working. Second semester, I started working. At night I worked 4 hours, 6 days a week. And then summer holiday, I work in the restaurants. And that gives really the life, to me, that was a good experience, a very good experience to teach me to be independent. Exactly, to be independent, to live my own life, to see the world. And I can't call home now, communication was so cheap and easy. To call back, it cost $3 international call, $3 per minute. So normally I wrote letter, but letter would take about how many months? At least a month to reach my parents. So that 1986, I went in 1986, 86. 86, 89, 86, 87, 88, 89. So I graduated in 1889, my first degree. And I told myself that I have to pursue a master degree because bachelor degree was very common. And my father was very strict when I was, when I was young. He knew that the only way to get out of poverty is to be educated. So every day he forced us to study. Holidays, non-holidays, weekend, study, nothing but study. So, and if we are naughty, if we don't study, he will punish us. He will cane us. You see. So I don't think I have a very memorable and very pleasant childhood times because all that I have is to study, right? So that got imprinted in my mind even until today. That times when I have opportunity to learn, this study still come up. You see,
in your head.
Right. So after that, I went to Michigan University. All this is self-supported. I worked part-time and then holiday full-time. And the money that I earn, the money that I make, enough for me to pay for my tuitions. Yeah.
So, sorry, Dato, can I just interrupt you there? What was your motivation then? I mean, based on what you just shared just now, your father was very strict, and then you basically paid for your uni fees. What was your main motivation?
Well, I'm going to talk about this at the later part of it.
All right.
That we must have, at that time, I have this vision. I want to be better than my parents. I want to be someone. So in order to be someone, I cannot stay at where I am right now, because if I don't do anything, nothing will change. I'm only earning $275. How can I be somebody? So I must do something drastic, move out, do something else. Even if I have to suffer, I think that is worth experience. So I decided to make a bold step to get away from where I am, to explore new opportunity outside of Cebu. And I think that is that motivation, the vision that I have, drove me, pushed me to move forward. Okay. So once when I graduated, Michigan Tech, 1992, I went to work in Singapore and National Computer Board. At that time, National Computer Board is a board helping Singapore government to digitize. So they call it Smart City 2000. Smart City 2000. And at that time, 1992, Sarawak government was having a G2G relationship with Singapore, and they were inviting Singapore team, the NCP team, to come over to help digitize Sarawak, right? Sarawak. So 1993, I came to know that there was this opportunity, and I decided to come back and help to digitize Sarawak. That's how it started. I came back in 1993 June to Sains. Next slide. So I was the head of the network and system engineering. I helped to set up the computer systems, the software, the networks, and so forth. And then after that, I continued to study my PhD with UNIMAS. I was the student from this Dr. Professor Kai Ruding. He is now the chancellor of
UTC. UTCS, I think.
Yeah, UTC, University Technology Sarawak, UTS. And then I did my MBA, and then I did a lot of certifications. Next slide. Yeah. So it's not that I wanted to study because I am stretching my potential. I believe that each one of us, all of us, are genius. We have this what we call hidden, latent potential within us. A lot of us do not realize it. So that's why now I'm taking a lot of time off to help people identify the inner potential and help to unleash it. That means unlock it. So I have stressed myself that yes, I can do it. I think all of us have this potential. Okay. So even now I'm studying, I'm learning new skills and so forth. This is to prove that at my age, I can still do it. You see? Right.
Well, looking at your educational background, there's no wonder why you are selected as the CEO for Sains. And looking at that also, it's a bit scary to a certain extent, but then with what you have just mentioned just now, scary in a good way, not a negative way, because you're, how do I put this? You're giving motivation to those out there. Now, just now you mentioned about trying to find ways to come up to discover one's potential. Okay, so I believe at the end of the session afterwards, we'll be sharing a little bit about that. But before that, going back again to Sains, what we need to know, I think most of the viewers would want to know a little bit more about Sains, what Sains is doing, what we can do. And I do hope the viewers out there will pay a bit more attention, because this is one place that we can collaborate with, especially here in Sarawak. Okay, so Dato, maybe you want to share a bit more about Sains and what Sains is actually about.
Right. Okay. Next slide. Sains was formed in 1991. It is a government. It is fully owned by Sarawak government. The objective of Sains is to help digitize Sarawak government operations. In other words, at that time we were talking about electronic government, right? So we it started in 1991 until today. I think it's about 30 plus. Basically, is to computerize. At that time, we talk about computerize government operations. So Sains' mission is to help government implement its electronic or digital initiative. Now, 2017, we have a new, very ambitious and forward-looking this. We call it now Premier. Used to be Chief Minister, and he has a very huge vision of transforming Sarawak from traditional economy to digital economy, right? So Sains' vision, Sains' mission is to help Premier achieve his vision by helping him to implement digital initiatives or digital program. So that is the mission of Sains. Okay, next slide. So what have we done so far? We have done a lot of things, and I just want to share a few with the viewer. Now, first of all, we talk a lot about data. Data is the next oil, right? In this digital world. So we have Sarawak government had 2 data centers. The data center is the place where we keep all the data. So the data centers runs 7 times 24, 365 days, right? So we have 2 because one as a backup, right? Now we also have a private network called Sarawak Net. The Sarawak Net is basically provisioning services for government agency, right? For data exchange, so that it will allow government to exchange data securely, right? It is Sarawak Net. And then we provide, of course, training. Otherwise, digital transformation may not be able to implement it effectively, because if people don't know how to use the system, equipment is just system is just becoming a white elephant. So we, since day one, provide trainings for government users, and we have written about 300 over software. In other words, the 300 over software is running on Sarawak Net, and people will be able to access information on laptop as well as on the mobile phone. Okay, next. Some awards that we receive over the years. One is we have security monitoring systems. So what is it? It is like a cyber police, right? People come in and out. We have a center that monitor to ensure that people who are coming in to access our information over your mobile phone, over your laptops, are legitimate users. Okay, so that this is to ensure that our data are being protected, to ensure that there is no hacking business or siphoning of information and so forth. Next. And the other one is we get awards on land and survey systems. Today, if you are in Sarawak and you own lands all over Sarawak, you will be able to pay on the system. You will be able to pay over the phone. Okay, so that in the past, if you have a land in Limban, you have to go to Limban office, and you have lands in Kuching, you have to come to Kuching. Today, you don't need to anymore. You just go to one office, you use the system, and you can pay quick rent and so forth. Next. So these are the other things. Libraries, all the libraries are linked up. You can access via your mobile phone. You can order books. The books can be sent to your house. And the local system, you pay your quick rent, you pay your accession fee, and so forth. Now I'm paying through this SPay Global, right? And Dali Himat One call centers, you have problems, you just call one number, and they will help resolve the problems, and so forth, right?
So making life easier for everyone.
Exactly, you don't need to go to physical place and link up and request for information. I know that the federal government many years back we are implementing UTC, right?
Correct.
So, but Sarawak, we do more than UTC, because UTC you have a lot of government offices in the same building. Say for example, you want to pay, you want to renew your lot tax. You go to one, probably first floor, and then you renew your license. You go to another floor. You still have counter. So what Sarawak does is this: we provide one window service. We call UTC. We call Service Sarawak. You just go to one counter. All the service, or you will be able to get all the, right. You don't have to go to multiple counters, and they will translate this, digitize this, so that we don't even need to go to the counter, physical counter. We can get service from one center via this computer system. Yeah.
I see.
So
A very good thing. Yeah.
Right. This is to make things easier, make service easier for the rakyat. Right. Some of the launching, this is another one of utility bill. So now they are embarking on one utility bill. So you have water bill, electricity bill, and other bills. They consolidate it into one. So you just pay now. So you don't need to go to you go to SEB to pay your bill, and then go to water board to pay another bill, and then later on you have gas bill, whatever bill. Just
so
one
everything
bill.
at your fingertips, basically. Then.
Exactly.
Thank you. Right. Thank you so much for making life easier for most of us.
Yeah. So this is what we call digitization. This is what Premier wants to achieve, right? And then we have also done this MIDI Smart City next. MIDI Smart City PLC, we've done it successfully. Next slide, please. And something that we have done, high cost system for Sabah and Sarawak, and now they are using artificial intelligence to do sentencing, right? It has been implemented 2 years ago. Right. Next. Some of the collaborations. This is SPay Global and Sarawak government have what we call e-wallet service. It is part of. It is different from Boost, different from Touch and Go, which is very much operated by commercial entities. But Sarawak government provides what they call fintech services as a service to the rakyat, right? So that we pay bills and so forth. We can use SPay. In the village now, we are in the process of moving to the rural area where they can do trading without using cash, right? And Sarawak Pay.
Sorry, Dato. How is it so far then? I mean, you mentioned just now that you, you're going into rural areas. So how's the usage for this Sarawak Pay Global?
Because Sarawak is very, very big. Now, if you are talking about urban users like Kuching and Sibu, everybody is now, I think, they are very much used to using, especially during this pandemic.
Exactly.
They don't use cash anymore. Then we will go into district, then sub-district, and so forth. But we found out that a lot of these sub-districts, they do not have proper terrestrial telecommunication infrastructure. So they probably have phone, but there's no stable connectivity. So what we want to do is probably give them card, put them the SPay physical card, so that they can go to they have this Kedai Runjik, but Kedai Runjik probably they have internet connections, so they can trade, they can buy things without using cash. And then the villager, they may have kids working in a town or working in Kuching town, where they have access to internet and they can send money to their parents. When they go to Kedai Runjik, the money will be transacted.
It's ever ready for them to use.
And they can use it, not without using cash. That kind of things. Right? So the state government, the Sarawak government premier, SPay Global actually is premier mega project, and this is first step towards achieving this digital economy, digital being cashless. Yeah.
So this means they still get to benefit from that also.
Right. And we have this we call PKSS relief fund during this the past 2 years COVID situation. They call a relief fund. So government released this fund via Sarawak Pay.
I see.
Yeah, rather than giving them cash, they say I give you through this
Sarawak Pay.
Right, and they can use it to buy things.
All right. So it's very straightforward then.
Right. Next, some of the what we call CSR that we did. Right. Next, we just flick through. Next.
So Dato, you mentioned just now that because I noticed in one of your slides just now something to do with CSR, right? Your was it your program Randau Digital? I think it was the slide before that. Now, what do you actually do in this session? Yes, that's the one. Program Randau Digital Community Lingga.
Right. This is Service Sarawak. Now, just now we talk about which one? Service modernization, digital.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh, they provide Wi-Fi center. The digital community is a place equipped with computers and Wi-Fi, so the villager can come to make use of their facilities.
So this means Sains will actually set up this whole center?
Yes, we assist. Now, we help them to set up this telecommunication and the computer system, right? But the program is owned by the state service modernization unit. They run it. We provide the IT system, the connectivity, and so forth. Right. Okay, social responsibility. Right. We have collaborations with UNIMAS, right? So there's 1, 2. We are also very active in provisioning services for ICAC, the PPKS, the vocational school, and in fact, I was one of the committee in ICAC, right? We also work with Cutting on research, IoT, the security. Basically, these are the forthcoming technology, advanced technology, right? We also work with Swinburne University, projects, research project, and so forth. Yeah, we also provide talks to UITM and other polytechnics.
Sorry, Dato. Now, assuming there are schools out there or any other organization that would want to have collaboration with Science, what are some of the things that they can do?
Um, they can communicate with us. We'll be more than happy to go down and brief them, share with them Sarawak Premier visions and what kind of activities, what kind of digital activities that we are now embarking. I think the students or the teacher, they need to know where we are moving, so they will be in sync, and then they will know what is forthcoming, so that they can prepare themselves for it. And we will be
See.
more than happy to go down and share with them this vision, this digitization vision of Sarawak government.
All right. I'm just a bit curious with one of the program that you have, the RIGHT program, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken, the Rural ICT Guided Home-Based Technopreneur. Is this still ongoing? I believe it is.
It is, but it wasn't very successful for some reason.
I see.
Yeah, so we have stopped this program 2 years ago, right? But
I
we
see.
still support the existing rights participants, right? Right.
So you still have participants coming back to your organization.
Right. I think that eventually we would need this program, because if we are starting to go into the district, sub-district, in the rural area, then it will give business to the right participants, because at this point in time they need to earn a living. If there's not much digital activity or program there, they have to come out to the town, to the city, to
That's
work,
true.
make a living. You see, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I think there's quite a lot of collaboration done mostly with higher institutions. So I do hope we will be able to collaborate a bit more with you in the future, especially for schools and secondary schools. I think there are a lot of potential in that sense. Yeah. Okay,
Right.
I think we're moving into the part where this is the part that I'm actually looking forward to more also, your sharing session
Okay.
on what you are actually doing, you're personally doing.
Right. You go to my, yes. It's about personal growth. Now, I don't claim to be expert in this area. So what I'm going to do in the next probably 20 to 30 minutes to share my experience in this. I think that in all organization or in school, we are all now talking about transformation, digital transformation. Now the term digital transformation looks how do I say?
Technical?
It could be technical. What is digital transformation? Now, a lot of us would think that digital transformation is to replace your book with tablets and computers and so forth. I think this is the easy part. A lot of it to do with our mindset, change of mindset. So if we don't change our mindset, digital transformation is just an empty words. It's just nothing. So based on my experience, even my organization was into digital transformation back in 2017. The most difficult part is human, right? Change our mindset. We always hold on to what we know. We always hold on to something that we are familiar. I've been doing this for 20 years. Why change? It works, you see? But
Very
that is not
true.
the point. That is not the point. Because if we continuously stay at where we are when we are comfortable, we will never be able to grow, to change. So life is like this. A lot of time we get ourselves comfortable. When we become comfortable, we fall into the trap of what we call complacency. right? So when we feel complacent, we stop learning and growing. So we heard a lot about disruption. So we have to continually disrupt ourselves. In other words, I have to do something different. When I do something different, I feel uncomfortable, right? Then slowly I'll get used to it. My uncomfortable become comfortable, right? So when you stay too long being comfortable, you again become complacent, right? So you have to be careful. So once you feel comfortable, you have to disrupt yourself. This is called self-disruption. Make yourself a little bit uncomfortable again. Uncomfortable means trying out new things, doing things differently. So you feel uncomfortable. Then after a while, you get used to then your uncomfortable become comfortable. So life
So
is
you have to find ways. You have to find
exactly.
ways to get out of the cycle, basically.
Yeah. So there are two parts of it: support and challenge. You get too much support, you become comfortable. And support means people are supporting you. You do everything that you know. You feel comfortable. Then you will not be able to grow. Even our kids, if we give them too much support, provide everything for them, they become reliant on you. So we have to give them a bit of challenge. You have to do something yourself, do something new, try new things, put you in a place when you are not familiar, unfamiliar land or uncharted territory. Then this is a challenge. Then you started to learn, right? So this is part of what we call personal growth. Okay, can you go to the next slide? Now, I'm going to run through some of the slides, right? Some
All
of the
right.
slides. I hope this benefit all of us. And then later on, we will see, if I can help to give a seminar based on my CSR and to share with all of you, right? Now, first is what we call, we must know ourselves. We must know ourselves. Now, before you know yourself, are we willing to learn? In other words, are you teachable? Are you still teachable? Am I open to new ideas? Do I listen more than I talk? Am I open to changing my opinion based on new information? Do I really admit when I'm wrong? These are the things, right? They say that it is very difficult to teach old dogs new
All those
tricks,
new tricks, yes.
right? Because you are not teachable anymore. You can't learn. So we have to to know all this. Am I still hungry for information? So first, we have to know ourselves. We have to know our hierarchy of values. What are the things that I feel important to me? What are my highest values? What is important to me? What do I like to do? Say for example, kids, their highest value is playing video games. Their lowest value is to study, right? So the highest value is playing video games. So when you do something that is of high value, you don't need to be motivated. You will do it spontaneously.
That's
You do
true.
it spontaneously, I say.
Yeah.
Anything that need to be motivated, anything that need to be incentivized is lowest value.
Love it.
Okay. Say for example, my highest value is self-development. I will read books. I read a lot of books. Nobody has to tell me, hey, Anderson, you have to read more books. It's time to read books. No need. Because this is highest value to my
To you.
top
Yes.
priority. So I would not need to be reminded. I will do it myself. So if you ask me to do housework, right? To do housework, sweep the floor and clean and all this, yes, I will do it one day, 2 days. But if you ask me to do it for a week, you need to motivate me. I need to be motivated.
So it takes
Okay.
a longer time to get it done then.
Right. So I need to be incentivized. The moment you take away the incentive, I will stop because these are lower priority.
I
Then I
see.
would like to
Yes.
ask to somebody else to do it. You see.
Correct,
But
correct.
what to me consider to be lower priority is higher priority to somebody else. If I
Exactly.
engage a worker to do it, helper to do it, and that is higher priority to him or her. You see,
Exactly.
right? So first we need to know. So we need to chart out this. I would think that this is very good for students. I intend to do this for Form 5 students and Form 6 students. Now, why? Because I've come across many students. I mean, these are scholars that they didn't know what to do. When I ask them what do you want to be, I don't know. I just follow my friends. My friends are
They're still unsure.
yeah, right. And then later on, they find out that this is not what I like. They took a degree. They spent 4 years doing one degree, and then when come back, they will do something which is completely
Something
different
else.
than this. Right. So once we find out what is their highest value, we can help them at least to check up, where to move on, your path, your career path, your life purpose, and so forth. So this is very important, right? So I have a method that help all of us to assess, to find out, to identify and find out your highest value. Now, a lot of the time we make decisions based on our highest value, but we are not conscious of it. Now today, if you have 2 events, one is to attend a family event, or the other one is to attend a workshop, then how do you choose? Based on your highest value. So if you are a family person, you say, well, I'm
Family gathering, yes.
family relationship, then I will attend that event, you see. But we are not conscious of it. So I think this is very important. Next slide.
It's very, very interesting, yes.
Yeah. The next one is about success principle, right? So what are success principles? It talks about responsibilities, right? It talks about responsibility. I don't know whether I have it in the next slide. You go to the next slide and see whether I have put them. Yes. So one of the principle is everything that we do, we are fully responsible for whatever outcomes that we have. Example, event is something that we can control. Example, economic crisis, our spouse, I can't control. Weather, I can't control. Everything that is, I call outside world, right? That we can't control. Traffic jam, I can't control. Accidents, I can't control, right? Plus respond, which I can control. And then you produce an outcome, right? A lot of the time we stuck at this response. We complain, not respond. We don't like the event, we complain. But when you complain, our outcome is still the same. The only things that you can change your outcome is to change your response. You can continuously change the response until you get the outcome that you want. Right? So I'm conducting a 3 days workshop consisting of all this to my senior management, my chief, my CFO, my C-suite, and senior officers and so forth. Always take 100% responsible for what you are facing now, right? Because those are just an event, and then you have to find the response to ensure that you get a favorable outcome. In other words, for any adversity, for any crisis, there is a seed of equivalent or greater benefits or opportunities. It's just two sides of it. But a lot of time, if you say that I'm very positive, you only look at the positive aspect of things. If you are very negative, you are only focusing on the negative aspect of the things. We should look at both, right? So when we look at both, then we know, things, there's no bad, neither bad, no good. They say COVID is bad, right? But some will say COVID is good because of COVID situation, there are a lot of things that I couldn't do. Now I can do at home. So these are the
So
benefits,
true. Yeah.
right? So depending on how you look at things. Right.
Oh.
Next one. So also a planning. So setting objectives. Now we are all, as a company in school, we set objectives, vision, objectives, and so forth, right? But do we set objectives and vision for your own life, right? Do you have your family objective? Do you have your financial objective? Do you have your social network objective? Do you have a career objective, and so forth? And spiritual objective, and so forth, right? So I would think that for myself, say for example, I set up all this as one objective. I have my personal goal, my vision, and I have at least 4 areas of objective. My family. So what kind of objective do we want to achieve for my family, for my kids, for my wife, and so forth? Then what about financial objective? Right? I want to achieve, let's say I want to achieve financial independence by the age of 50, right? Good. So now I know. Now the next thing is this: a dream without action plans is just a fantasy. You already talk about, I want to do traveling, or I want to earn this, or I want to do this, but there's no action plans. It's just illusion. It's still thinking. A dream with action is a goal. If I have a dream, I want to achieve financial independence at the age of 50, right? So I must have action plans.
Yes.
Right? So what do you want to do? That means I still have 10 years. So year one, 25%. So what 10%? What do I want to achieve? Right? So you have a yearly plan. 1 year you have 12 months, you have monthly plans. So 1 month you have 7 weeks. 1 month you have 4 weeks, you have weekly plan. 1 week you have 7 days, you have daily plan. So if you achieve your daily plan, you achieve your monthly plan. If you achieve your monthly goals, then you achieve your yearly goals. You see? So it's step by step. Right.
So would you agree if I say that we should start with small dreams, that we have small action plans that eventually will grow into bigger goals?
So you can have a big plan, dream, never mind, but you can break it down. So that's why they say, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time, right? One bite at a time, right? So the dream it can be big, but it can be broken down into small steps. Over the years, you'll be able to achieve it. May not be 100%, right? If you were 10%, it's 10% gain. 20%, there's 20% gain. They're not doing it at all.
Better than zero, basically.
Exactly. You are right. Next, this is planning. The next one is mental block. Mental blocks. Now, during this pandemic, I come to know that there are a lot of people getting depressed, and there's a number of reasons. One, they do not have a purpose in life. They live day by day, dripping day by day. Come to the office, 8 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 5. There's no objective in life. So when something happens, then you feel depressed. Now some of them will say, hey, I used to travel twice a year, going overseas, makan angin, right? So life to me is to enjoy. And now with COVID, now you can't travel. Now you can't enjoy. Then life to you become meaningless, because you do not have life purpose. What is your purpose? What are you doing to make
the best out of
exactly, to help this community, to help humanity, to service humanity? So this is our life purpose. Working and so forth, making money and so forth, life is just part of it. It's just part of it, right? So we have this mental blocks. It's all what we call about conscious mind and subconscious mind. Whatever feeling that we have, we store it in our subconscious mind, right? And every time when we react, you see, act and react. You react. Action is the first time. Then you reaction. Every time you repeat the same action. If you make one mistake, you continually make the same mistake.
Making the same mistake.
Exactly. So reaction. But there's another term called response. Response is different. Response means somebody says something bad about me. I don't react. I respond. I think about it, control myself, my emotion and everything, and then I give it back. I reply tactfully. See, so I have some information on how to get away or move outside of your mental box. A lot of people talk about think outside the box. Now, where are your box? Can you find your box? Can you find your mental box?
That's a good point. Yeah. So
If you don't know your mental box, you're gonna move out.
okay, so Dato, how do you get out of this mental block then? I mean, like what you mentioned just now, during COVID, everyone kind of like everything stops. So people who loves traveling, they had to stop. People who used to have a very active lifestyle, they had to stop. Now, in that time, I believe, I mean, even we read in the newspapers, there's a lot of people going through depression. And how do we ourselves find ways to get out of that mental block?
All right. First, you have to understand your thinking process. The next is about what is life to you. What is life to you? Do you have an objective? You may have it. Did you write it down? Right? What about your family? What about your financial plans, your objective? So life is more than just 8 to 5 or yeah, and we need to enjoy. Yes, that is also part of life, right? But there is other purpose of life. Now someone say, okay, my life is to raise my kids to become great leader. Yes, that is your objective, which is good. Like these are the Kennedy family. Kennedy family, the mother said, I am raising my kids to become leaders of the nation. So she did it. Hey. So these are the things that we need to understand. One, we need to understand. So we need to understand my habits. The habit is basically my mental blocks because I do things routinely every time, the same thing. To get out of it means doing things different, right? We are not, because doing things different make me uncomfortable. Say, for example, you brush your teeth with your right hand. Yeah. Now, do you, when you brush your teeth, you never think because you brush
It's
with
a
your
routine, yeah.
right hand. Can you now change brushing it with your left hand? Yeah, you feel uncomfortable, right? But it's basically training your brain. Say, hey, there's another way of doing it.
So giving yourself alternatives, basically getting out of the comfort zone.
Exactly. Like what I say just now. Get out of your comfort zone, right? Okay. So the next slide, is about mind power. It's what you think. Have we ever take time to think about what we think? Your thoughts. Okay. The mind power is about positive mental attitude. It's about attitude as well as your perception. My perception and your perception will be different when I say things.
Exactly.
Right? And why are we different? We are all now sitting, let's say in this room, there are hundreds of them, but all of us will react differently. Why? Again, this is our mental box. It's what we have planted in our subconscious mind. Now, if you are bitten by the dog when you are small, when you are young, today when you look at the dog, you will run
You
away.
get scared. So, yes, exactly.
But why for somebody who loves dog, when they see dog, they say, "Wow, what a cute dog!"
They will approach them, yes.
Right. So these are the things that is in your database here. So how do you get rid of it? This is just one example. Say, for example, if you experience some traumatic or unpleasant event in the past, it's
Yes.
still registered inside here. Example, when you were in primary one, say for example, and the teacher asked you to introduce yourself, to make a small speech, just introduce yourself. This is primary one. You stood up and you couldn't speak properly, and your friends next to you laugh at you, right? You have a horrifying first experience, that feeling, and it's stored inside your brain now, your subconscious mind, right? Now you are an adult now. Let's say your boss said, "Mr. So and so, I would like you to do a presentation to this important group of people." Immediately, this feeling get fished out. Is it, wow, it's going to be a horrifying, making presentation, right? So instead of thinking how to do it, the person
You're worrying
thinking excuses. You will think of
to get out of the whole thing.
way. He said, no, sir, I'm not. I don't think I can do it, or I'm not free, or I think Mr. So and so is better. You better ask it. Right? Now, if the boss said, "No way, you are going to do it," I give you a week's time. I tell you that week you couldn't sleep, you couldn't eat.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. Yeah, a lot of us can relate to that. So how do we get out of that kind of mindset? I mean, it's not an easy thing. Like what you say just now, we can't teach all dogs new tricks, but sooner or later we need to get out of our own comfort zone to challenge ourselves. But how do we get it going?
Okay. Let me do a demonstration.
All right.
You know multiplication table?
Yes.
Okay, 2 times 2.
4.
3 times 6.
18.
Right. Why? You didn't even think about it.
I guess it's because something that I kind of get used to memorizing since I was a kid.
Right. Since when you were a kid, you were asked to memorize. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Probably for primary 1, primary 2, primary 3. Right.
All the way until secondary school.
Maybe. So this kind of thing get imprinted inside your mind, imprinted inside your subconscious mind. Okay. So now it become automatic.
Yes.
So when I ask you a question, you will answer immediately, right? Now you have this negative emotion or experience inside you, right? It also get pulled out when you are interfacing with this environment. Now, let's say you tell yourself, I'm very confident with myself. I'm worthy, and I'm that kind of thing. You say that, I'm a good speaker. I'm a good speaker. I can do it well. I can speak well. So these are what we call affirmation. So every morning, if you spend a few minutes, tell yourself, I can do it. I'm a good speaker. People are loving to hear from me. If you do it over a period of time, this thing get imprinted
Stay in your
mind.
head.
Exactly. So next time when you come across a speaking opportunity, this thing will come out. When they say,
So
"Hey,
automatically, so you automatically will grab the chance.
quickly come out saying that, "Oh, I can do. I'm a good speaker. I can do good presentation. Blah blah blah." So you be thinking about now, how can I do better, rather than finding excuse to push it away.
So it goes back to ourselves. We need to take that step to change.
Right. There are methods that can help with this. Right. Okay. The next one. I think there's one
Well
comment.
said. Change your habits, change your life.
Yeah. Okay. Next. No. Yes. This. No. You go back. Yes. Change your habit. Change your habit. Change your life. Habit is routine. It get programmed in our brain. You drive. A lot of us drive without even thinking about it, because our brain is the most energy serving organs. Because when we think, we consume energy, but our brain is very lazy. Our brain, when you become routine, the brain doesn't think anymore because it conserves energy. So means routine. So a lot of things that we do is because of habit, become routine. You don't need to think. So familiar, right? Now, bad habits is bad. So if you want to be successful, you must adopt or develop high performing habits or successful habits. Is it not? Now, how do we crack habits? It's very difficult to crack a habit, but we can develop new habits. It takes, based on research, it takes 27 days to form a habit. But to me, it takes about 3 months, at least 3 months to form habits, and you do it every day. Because what habits means, forming a circuit inside your neuron. Because your neuron, there's no connections. But when you do something different, it starts to form that circuit line, So during that period, before it becomes your habit, you must have self-discipline. You must be motivated. Let's say it takes three months to form the habit. Within that 3 months, you have to adopt self-discipline. You have to discipline yourself. Make sure I do this every day. You don't miss out anything.
For the next 3 months. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, Dato. Then we have a question now from Samuel Lee. So he has 3 questions, I think. Yeah. His first question is, what are your belief system? So second question, what are your self-limiting beliefs? And I think the last statement is just a statement. Your belief system is impacting your life. So the 2 questions, what are your belief system and what are your self-limiting beliefs?
All right. So what is belief system? Belief system is something that we acquire. Say, for example, they say there's no free lunch, right? There is not free lunch. This is my belief system. Will it change? I don't know. Now, it just belief. Now, what does it mean? You know that now there's free lunch. Now, when people give you free stuff, immediately your subconscious mind will tell you there's no free lunch. So you have to be careful. You see what I mean? Now, there's another belief system say if you work hard, you'll be successful. Right? If you work hard, you'll be successful. But today, if you look at it, there are many people who work very hard. Daytime, they work in the office. Nighttime, they are great driver, right? Are they successful? They are still not successful. So is this belief system still valid? So that's why you need to change the belief system. Is my belief system helping me to grow, helping me to move forward, or my belief system now is hindering me from moving forward? Okay, so we need to examine that belief system. Now, what are self-limiting beliefs? Self-limiting beliefs means I can't do it. I'm too old, I'm a failure. I'm no good, because my mom said I'm no good. My teacher said I'm hopeless. So all this being ingrained in your mind. So if you are presented with an opportunity, immediately that subconscious mind says, I'm no good. This is not for me.
So just like that small experiment you did with me earlier, that you become, automatically, you're robotic in that sense. You automatically become defensive because you've been trained to think in such a way, isn't it?
Right.
Okay. There's another one here from Nadia. She's asking, how do I make my students use their subconscious minds correctly?
I think that the students need to know one assessment. That means I give you an example, highest value, right? I think
All
all
right.
parents is wrong. A lot of kids now, they don't like to study. They like to play video games, right? So video games,
True.
let's say you have to rank it your highest value. Highest value here means things that is deemed important to me, things that is of higher priority to me. Video games is number one. Studying probably number 5 or number 10. You see? So when your kids play video games, you don't need to remind your kids, hey kids, I think now is the time for you to play video games. They will do it automatically and they will stay up day and night. They don't feel tired at all. Because things that is important to me, I will do it simultaneously. I don't feel tired. In fact, I get energized. Right? Now, how do you move studying from number 10 up to number 2, so that you can study, you can form this the habit of studying. That means you don't need to remind your kids to study; you will study by itself. There's a
So you have
technique.
to find.
Yes.
Sorry. So you have to find ways to make it their high value then.
Yes. Say for example, your kids hate mathematics. Right? So how do we encourage them to take up maths? So we can link them to video games. You like to play video games? Yes. Do you want to become an outstanding gamer? Oh yes, kids want that, right? Then how would mathematics help you to become a better gamer? Well, mathematics, you are talking about formulas, you're talking about algorithm, because games nothing but algorithm programming, right?
Yes.
So how would that benefit you? Oh, so if I study maths, I know how to do algorithm formulas. I can even write games. I'll be better than ordinary gamers. So what are the other benefits? This is about perception. So you ask them to go through the list. Tell me 20 benefits that mathematics can help you to become a better gamer. So once they go through these 20 benefits, he changed his perception. So every time he play games, he would think of mathematics. Every time he does mathematics, he thinks of games. You see? So this is about linking.
I will take this advice. I might use it on my son also. He's into gaming, and like what you said, he's not really keen in maths, but I'll definitely do that experiment with him at home then. Okay, we have another statement here. Maybe you can respond to it from Winnie George. She said the mental state of teenagers nowadays are basically living in a comfort zone. Okay, they don't have a sense of responsibility. So responding to this, how can we get them out of their comfort zone for teenagers nowadays? Yeah.
Right. Now, it is all about highest value. Again, about highest value. Responsibilities here probably means clean out your own rooms, maybe, or doing something, because if you are a student, your responsibility is to study. Your responsibility is to do something. You have a room yourself. Your responsibility is to tidy up your room. But tidying up the room is lower priority to them, you see. So we need to know what is their highest priority. Then link them. You have to link them so that they say, okay, I do this, it also means that.
So we have to find ways to do that, yes.
Yes, exactly. Again, like the same thing that we talk about, the maths and the video games.
Yeah. So putting it into their high value list, changing yes. Right. All right. Okay.
Now, before you do that, you must be able to communicate. Now, how do you communicate with your kids? How do you communicate with your kids? See, your kids like to play video games. We know nothing about video games. So,
exactly.
To communicate, we need connection. Now, what do you mean a connection? You see, I have a handphone. Now, when I want to connect to you, want to call you, I need to know your number, right? I
Exactly.
need to know
Yes.
you. I need to know your number. I have to call you. You have to accept it, right? When you accept it, we can communicate, right? So when we communicate, we build trust, right? So that we
Yes.
can talk more. Otherwise, you just say, okay, oh, right? Because I'm not communicating, I'm just listening. So your kids like to play games. So to connect to him, you have to talk in the same frequency. You have to know video games, you have to do desktop, you have to do
You
research.
have to learn a bit.
You have to go out there and do research on what kind of games and so forth. So you can sit down to talk to your kids about games. He said, wow, mom, wow, you know games also, right? So now he said, now I can connect, I can accept you. So you can talk about games. So later on, you build the trust, and then we talk about other things.
Okay. Very good. You
Right.
basically have to bridge the gap between the two person involved then.
Right. Okay. So the next one, this is very important. The development of human personality. So all of us, we have different personality. We don't know why. You see, even twins, they are identical. They behave differently. This has a lot to do. I think some of you may be familiar with Erik Erikson, the 8 stages of personality development. So in my sharing workshop, I also touch on this to tell you why you are behaving like this. Once you know this, then you'll be able to change. This is where I am. This is where I want to achieve. I'm going to change. So that there are ways to help them, because some are introvert, some are very timid, right? It's all this having to do with early age of our developments, our brain developments, our personality developments, right? So the next one, the next slide. Now, I say that all of us are genius. All of us are genius. We have inner potential within us. We don't know about it. So if I'm able to unlock, first I'll be able to help you identify, then help you to unleash it, you will be a genius. Say for example, if you ask a cat and a duck to swim, of course, the duck can swim like a fish. And you said, wow, you are a genius. You swim like a fish. A cat, you can't. But if you ask them to climb trees, the cat can climb, like a genius. The duck cannot climb, see? So if you can put the person, if you know the capability and put it in the right environment, you will perform like a genius. Is it not?
Yeah,
So all
that's
of
true.
us, we have a different capability and different skill. But if you can put them in the correct place, they can excel. You see?
That's true.
Now, do you know your capability? Now, a lot of you read, say for example, right? Now, how fast can you read? I just share with you my experience.
Okay.
I like to read, and I can only, in the past, I can only read 200 words per minute and 250 words, because 200 to 250 words per minute is my speaking speed,
Okay.
right? So when I read, I sub-vocalize. When I read silently, when I read with my eyes, I also vocalize it. Read silently, you see. So the speed will be hold back by my vocalization. But my brain works faster than that. The brain cannot wait for my vocalization.
Speech.
So my mind will drift. So my mind drift, then I say, oh, one sentence. I will say, hey, I forgot. You come back and reread, and become very slow. I've been doing research and on this speed reading, and currently I can read at least 850 words per minute. And my target is 1,000 words a minute, and I can have pretty good retention. In other words, I can retain about 80% of what I read. I read like this. Okay. So a book normally is about 280 words, 280 pages. I can spend about two hours or 2.5 hours to finish a book. So if I can do it, you can do it as well. It's just a technique. If you get a technique, if you can learn it and form it as a habit, you can. So they call leaders are readers. So you have to read a lot. To read a lot, you must read fast. And they are
We have to
taking out.
go. Yeah. So we have to go to the basic. Reading is still the best thing to do then.
Yes, definitely, right. So what about memorize things? A lot of us have this self-limiting beliefs again. Oh, I'm getting old, my memory become very poor. That is nonsense. Memory, because you don't use it, it ages fast. But when you think, doing new thing, it forms this circuit. And you can remember. There are techniques to help you to remember things.
So something that we have to keep telling ourselves to use our brain so that we have no excuse by saying our brains we can't remember things. Now,
Right.
Dato, because you've been talking about unlocking inner potential. How do you use this in your organization?
First is to know about oneself. First is to know about oneself, like what I have talked about just now.
Exactly.
First,
Yes.
growth mindset, fixed mindset. You have to know about yourself, and then do assessments and so forth. And this is all about myself. It's not about something else. And
All
through
right.
this process, they will be able to know themselves, their capability, and then they set the vision. Once you set your personal vision, you link it, your objective, you link it with your organization. Let's say my company, right? So you link it with the company vision, objective, and so forth. Now that means what? There will be one overall integrated visions and objectives. So when the person comes to work in the office, it means he's also one step closer to achieving his personal objectives.
I see.
So that he'll say, okay, I come to work, I'm also achieving my personal objectives.
That's the goal.
So you don't need to be incentivized, to be motivated to come to work on Monday mornings. You'll be looking forward to come to teach, to work, to do your work.
I see. So do you practice coaching in your organization? I mean, if I look at this, it's basically things related to coaching. Do you practice it a lot in your organization?
Yes, we are doing it now. So I'm doing training at the same time. I'm training the trainers because I can't train 1,000 people. I train the senior people, and then I pick those who can do training. I train them so that they can train the rest, right? And I coach them. Yeah.
All right. So are you open for invitation from outside organization to invite you to do coaching in the future, just in case any of our viewers are keen in doing that?
Yes, I mean these are the things that I have. If I keep it to myself, I mean it will not worth anything. So if I can pass on to all the teachers or anybody who like to learn, so that you can pass it on the students, especially Form 5 students, because they don't know what to do after next, or Form 6 students, they do not know what to do after that, and also university students, they do not know how to face this, what kind of career they want to choose and so forth. So I've been willing to do all this, right? But I can't, for myself, I can't do. So the best is to train somebody, and then they can go up there and do CSR or do this sharing, helping the upcoming generation, because they are the leaders. They are the leaders who are going to manage us, because we are all getting old. right?
True.
They are the one who is going to lead the company and manage us, and manage the society and the country or the nations, and us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we have one question here. It's in BM. I'll try my very best to translate it. Okay, the question says, how can science help leaders, school leaders, especially in Sarawak, to make them, how do I put this, fasih digital, or to make this leadership digitalized in education?
Okay.
Okay, let me just rephrase that. How can science help school leaders, especially in Sarawak, to make leaders competent in terms of digitalization, in terms of education, in that sense?
Right. I must say that in the past years we did not put a lot of emphasis in this area because we consider this is a federal matter. You see, so what we can do is like what I said, to share, to go up there and give talks, at this point in time, and then provisioning internet connectivity and so forth. I think that's all we can do at this point in time. Yeah, because over there, the ministry also have their own programs.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay. One more thing, because we were talking about CSR just now, and then I remember in our conversation prior to this webinar, we were talking about how science can assist schools, especially to expose them a little bit more in terms of opportunities in ICT. Okay, so assuming there are some schools out there are interested to collaborate with your organization, what are the things that, I think I did mention this, I mean, I did ask this earlier, what are the things that they can do? I mean, they can get in touch with you. Should they write invitation to Sains? I mean, what are the things that Sains can actually organize for them?
Yeah. We have a contact probably after this that thing. I can give you a person in contact, and if the school wants any talk, and they can explore CSR programs. But we are very open, right? There are not so many because we are a private company. There's not so many protocols. You see, if there's anything that we can help, if there's anything that we can help within our capability, we would do so. We would do so.
So assuming we have, for example, we're having a career day, so we invite Sains to come to our organization to conduct a session with them. So that's possible also.
Yes, definitely, that's possible.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's talk a bit more about what you mentioned just now in terms of. Oh, okay, we have another question there that just pop up. Okay, between educational coaching and corporate or business coaching, what are the differences between educational coaching and corporate or business coaching? Is there any difference?
At this point, my focus is on personal growth, personal transformation. So if that's the case, then there's no difference between corporate coaching as well as educational coaching. It is about you, me. How can I be a better person so that I can better serve the community, the students? Over here, we are in the service industry. How can I serve my customer better? It's the same. It's about me, my mindset, right? How ability to know my gaps, my capacity, my capability, so that I can improve on it. So I don't think there's any difference. It's about me. It's about personal. It's not about the school system. We're not talking about the school system. We're talking about personal. How can I be a better person so that I can provide better service to my clientele?
All right.
Yeah.
Now, just now you mentioned about getting out of our comfort zone. Assuming like in any organization, I do believe there are people who are just very complacent. They still want to stay in their comfort zone. So how is there any way we can try to get these people to at least step a little bit out of their comfort zone? I mean, like what you mentioned just now, teaching all dogs new tricks is not an easy thing. A lot of us are very not open-minded to changes. We tend to stay comfortable where we are, and then, as you mentioned earlier, also we don't realize that we are actually doing something on a routine basis. So, how do we, especially for leaders, how do you get these people to change a bit, just to get them out of their comfort zone?
Wow. There is no fixed rules. And
Mm-hmm.
again, there are some who are resistant to change. These are what we call fixed mindset people. They believe that it is to be like this. I'm comfortable, things are working, why change? When we need to change, you see? And others, they see it differently. So if I can save time, if I can do it more efficiently, why not? It's just like phone or email. Now, a lot of them will say, why do I have to use email? No need. But the youngsters say, without email, without Facebook and all this communication, I cannot survive, you see? So now we are dealing with Gen G, Gen X, and Gen something. Now, how do we communicate with them? Right? So we have to start learning. You have to start learning some of the tools. We have to start to do things differently. We start to accept them. Otherwise, you'll be out. Now, in the organization, what we can do is job switching. We switch around. We switch job. Now this is different. Now you are operating under a very unfamiliar environment. So you have to, in order to survive, you have to learn, you have to adapt.
So do you agree that, like, in any organization, I mean, assuming that you have a few different departments, for them to get out of their comfort zone, you change them into other departments. Do you believe that will also work?
It may work. This is what we call job rotation.
All right.
But it is about mindset.
Mindset
change.
again, yes.
Right. It's about change of your thinking mindset. I think the important thing is to help the person to see himself. Otherwise, he blames you. He said, "Why I'm a top performer in this department. Why do you change me? I'm not able to perform now because I'm old. Because I'm not able to learn now because of this, because of that." And they tend to blame you. Right?
Okay.
Remember, event, response, and outcome. Event change. But they choose to complain because complain is easier than respond. So they fall into the kind of trap. So we have to let them understand, hey, this is what you need to do to help you to grow. Otherwise you'll be stagnant.
So again, it goes back into unleashing their potential. Okay.
Right.
All right. We have another question here. It's asking from one of our viewers, asking what is the leadership style that is a practice for you in your organization?
One is openness. Openness in we do not manage by authority. In other words, you listen well, listen what I say, do according to SOP, and so forth. It doesn't work that anymore. Now I share with you a little experience if I have a bit of time. We always tell our kids, now you listen well. Do what I say. You give them an SOP. You study, you do this, you do that, you wake up, you clean this, you do this, you just follow this, and you will never go wrong. In other words, we get all this value that we have, everything that we have, our experience, and project it on them. Right? Now, if you do that, if your kids are very obedient, you follow exactly what you told them to do, at best, I tell you, your kids will end up like you. Your kids will never, when they grow up, will never be better than you, right? Because you tell them, this is what I experience, this is what I do. Now I'm a clerk. Hey, you just do this. Your kids will at best be a clerk.
So indirectly, you're trying to say that what we do is basically we're without realizing we are molding our kids to be the next version of us.
Right. What we should do is help them to identify the potential, the capability, and unleash it. They can be who they want to be, not to be who I want them to be. Because
That's
they
a
are
good
not
point. That's a good point.
right.
I think a lot of us are guilty of that. But I think after listening to what you have shared, one of the most important thing I could take out of the whole session is that we need to be able to unleash our potential at the same time to should we say appreciate those that we have, especially as a leader. You will need to appreciate and unleash their potential so that they are able to put it at their high value instead of their lower value.
Right.
Okay. All right. Let's go to another question that we have also. Okay. Now, assuming that you have a situation where it's difficult to get one of your subordinates or your colleagues or your staff out of their comfort zone, probably because they feel that they are a senior in that position. So just now you mentioned maybe change of department, maybe get them to try something else. But what if they're very adamant that they are not going to do so? Would you
Right.
just leave it as it is?
Okay. There are two ways of doing this. The quickest way is I don't care about you, I put you in a cold storage. That means the person will never change. If you move it to another department, he will behave exactly as he
The
is
same.
now. Right.
Yeah.
So that is not good. Two, now, always is about communication. Communication means I have to know him. Remember that to connect to him, I need to know him well. What is his highest value? What he is like to do, and so forth, so that I can talk to him, at that kind of level, right? Once I talk to him at that kind of level, he opens out. We develop trust. When we develop trust, then we can help him to change. We can help him to change. You can say that, wow, you are very stubborn, but he said that you don't understand me, you do not know, you don't know what I have gone through in my life, right? So this here, leader has to be empathetic. We always think in the shoes of others. We always talk. We always talk in the interest of others, so that they will listen to you, right? So we need to make that connection to understand, really, really care about the person. We are here now. I'm here now to help you to change, to help you to grow. You have full potential. I see potential in you. I will help you to unlock it. I think the person will be very happy. But please tell me how.
So again, like what you have mentioned earlier, one of the most important thing is to actually bridge the gap between ourselves and that particular person, isn't it? So,
Right.
Okay, we have another question here asking, where do you see Sains in 5 years' time? What's the strategic planning for Sains in the next 5 years?
Right. Now, I will see Sains will be one in terms of, because Sains is the technology company. I will see that Sains will play a bigger role, play a pivotal role in helping Sarawak government achieve its digital transformation, right? So in terms of skills, Sains will also, I will see that Sains will also help. Sains will also work with partner to complete that digital ecosystem. So I would think that Sains will play a very important role in helping Sarawak government achieve that vision, and not just 5 years, 10 years down the road. We will have a lot of this technical expertise, and the way we work will be different. A lot of us will be working at home. A lot of us will be working in flexi hours, and then I will see that the company will have a pool of expertise, right? Expertise, and I think this is a good thing for Sarawak, and I'm encouraged I'm encouraged Slovakian to come back and
So-
you know to help
Betul,
achieve
Sarawak.
all these dreams. Yeah, to make Sarawak a better place to live and to work for the upcoming generation. Yeah.
Okay, we have a few more questions. And another one here is if someone is interested to work with science, especially for Sarawakians with ICT qualification, what can they do? How do they apply to science?
I think we have a website. We have
Right.
a website. You just go to our website, and there is employment. You can just send in your resume, and we also have an application called best job. You just go in there, and then you apply, and then upload your resume. Yeah.
So this one can be done at any time of the year.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. I think that's all that we have time for today, Dato. But before that, okay, I think somebody just shared the link to, it's the bestjobs.com, isn't it? Is that the
Yes.
one?
Right.
All right. Okay. Now, before we end our session, Dato, is there any other thing you would want to share to school leaders or any leaders in that, say, as a leader, what should you or what would be the best thing to do when you are faced with certain situation?
Okay. My sharing is this: uncertainty. We should embrace uncertainty in our life. In other words, life is always uncertainty. It's not fixed, which is a good thing, because there's a lot of uncertainty. I can create a new outcome. If lives are fixed, then life will not be interesting anymore, because it's
That's
fixed.
true.
You can't change anymore. It's become routine, right? So we cannot expect things to be happen like this. I always believe that whatever events that happen, right? There's no good and bad. Whatever has happened, we have to ask ourselves, what do I learn out of it? How can I turn this into an advantage to me? It is me, you see. There's no good things or bad things. It is our mind tell us. Anything that support my highest value, I say this is good. Anything that challenge my highest value, I say this is bad. Is it not? Right? If you're supposed to go for a picnic with your family and you have planned a huge event going to Santubon for a picnic, and that day it happened to rain heavily, and they challenge your highest value. You say this is a bad day, right? Now, if you were a cloudy, rain, a sunny day, you say this is a good day, right? So then anything that happens is an event or matter or whatever is not good or bad. It's our perception.
The mindset. So basically, it's back again to us to change that mindset, isn't it? So that whatever we face, regardless of whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, we should look at it in a bit more positive way.
Yes. Ask yourself, what have I learned out of it? Is learning, you become wiser. And how can I turn this into an advantage to me?
So positive mindset is the thing to do then.
Right.
All right. I think we have a corporate video that we have from Sains that we're going to show in a short while. I think the crew is ready with that. So can we have that, please? Thank you. Okay, thank you for the video. Once again, thank you so very much to our guest today, Dr. Anderson Tiong, for your sharing. And I believe a lot of us benefited from that sharing. I can see that there's two things that we shared just now. I mean, that you shared just now. One was about science and what the others out there can do in terms of collaboration with science. And second, it's more into the coaching part, which I find really, really interesting. And I do believe that for us, one of the things we need to do is to unleash our own potential. At the same time, try to help others to unleash theirs also. So with that, I think that's the end of our session for today. So don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, IAB Cawangan Sarawak, and also at the same time, look forward to the next Randau that we will have next month again with another guest. Okay. So with that, thank you so very much to all the viewers. See you in the next rundown. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.